December 7, 1941, I was coming from school when I heard the news that the Japanese had attacked Pearl Harbor. And I said, wow, this is something very, very serious, and I would like to be a participant in whatever happens. Unfortunately, the war ended in 1945 when I was 16 years of age, and I could not be drafted or recruited to serve. 5 years later, I heard in the radio again that the North Koreans had invaded the South Koreans. When I heard those news, I said, well, there is opportunity that the United States will be involved. Suddenly, within days, I got the notice that I would report for induction into the United States Army. Those news were of great satisfaction to me because I really wanted to be a soldier in the United States Army. I was prepared for that. We moved to Camp Tortuguero for training, and within 12 weeks, we were boarding a boat from San Juan to Busan. It took us approximately 35 days to get to Korea from San Juan to Puerto Rico. I was assigned to Company D of the 65th Infantry Regiment. At the time, we didn't have a front. It was like we are here and you are there. And wherever they spotted us, they fired at us, and we do vice versa. But most of the time, in the type of guerrilla warfare, when you move troops, you are in a no man's land. The North Koreans at that time, they had launched a counterattack against the United States forces. And they were supported by Chinese troops and things like that. They were very heavy, and they were trying to really regain the terrain that they had lost during the winter month, which, you know, the Puerto Rican regiment and all the other divisions that were there pushed them as far north as the Yalu River. I got hit by artillery fire. I was in a vehicle. It hit the vehicle, and I got wounded. From there, they removed me through the chain of hospitals that we had in the field, and I ended up in a hospital in Japan. And they did such a good job that in 6 months I was ready to return back to Korea. I served in Korea total of 16 months. I consider myself a soldier of the United States, and I am serving my country, no matter whether it was a Puerto Rican regiment or a Korean or a North American regiment. My brother Miguel, he went to Korea. My brother Hector, he went to Korea also at the same time that I was there. The greatest loss I had in Korea was my brother. He was a member of the same regiment also. Unfortunately, he got killed in action. He was a hero. My brother was a hero and was never recognized, you know, what he did. He was a fighter. He was the greatest fighter the Puerto Rican regiment ever had. After I returned to Puerto Rico, 2 years later, I was back in Korea. This time I was assigned to the 24th Infantry Division, and we did duty at the DMZ for 16 months. After that, I re-enlisted, I continued to stay in the military. I went to Fort Rocket, Alabama, where I trained troops. Then from Fort Rocket, Alabama, I went to Fort Dix, New Jersey, where I trained troops. And then I went to the Hawaii with the 25th Infantry Division. I served with them for 3 years. And then in 1967, I get a call to go to Vietnam. I went to Vietnam in 1967, and I served 12 months with the 1st Cavalry Division. I returned in 1969 back to New Jersey. I was called back to Vietnam again, and this time I served another 12 months with the 101st Infantry Division. My mission was to make sure that everybody that was with me did not come home sick, wounded, or killed. To me, that was my greatest achievement, that I did not lose a man at all.